Welcome everybody. Today we're playing SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated on the PC.
I want to get a photo for my scrapbook. Hey, hello? What do you think you're doing? Oh, no, wait! But I'm your master!
Wouldn't it be great if we had real robots to play with, Patrick? I'd name mine Robo Jr. or Zorlon or maybe Frankie.
Yeah, these unreal robots are getting boring. Hey, what if we put the robots in here? A magic wishing shell.
Wow, that's great, Patrick. Okay.
Then we go to sleep, and in the morning, we'll have real robots to play with.
Robots gonna play with wow! Gary, did you do that? I make myself a snack.
Just like that one episode of SpongeBob where he had that dream and the robot was attacking him or whatever. This is basically that dream realized. That's it. This is a classic SpongeBob game. A lot of people have probably heard of this, especially since the remake came out. I originally played this game on the PlayStation 2 a long time ago. And the funny thing about that is I didn't have an save card, one of the, I don't know, the cards you use to save your game on, you know, so you could, resume wherever you left off. I didn't have one of those, so I couldn't save my progress. So every time I played SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, I would have to restart the game. So I basically was playing the game, getting as far as I can, and then having to restart the next time I wanted to play, which isn't too bad, I guess, when I think about it. But at the same time, I don't ever remember beating the game. I'm pretty sure I beat it once right before I stopped playing my PlayStation 2 and ended up getting an Xbox 360 or whatever console I got next. Because I did end up getting save cards, and I was like, all right, I can actually play games and save. And then I think I just sat down one day. I'm like, I should really beat this game because I haven't done it yet. And then I beat it. And then Battle for Bikini Bottom came out many years later, and I bought that game. And here we are, going to beat Battle for Bikini Bottom again. But this time the graphics look better. Here we are at Jellyfish Fields. Basically, we have to get jellyfish ointment or some kind of ointment for Squidward because he was stung by a bunch of jellyfish, so he needs that ointment to feel better, I guess. And I think this game is great. That's definitely because of nostalgia, but man, a lot of this game is great. The remake is great. It really recaptures the atmosphere of the original game and a lot of the levels. And I don't know, it's going to be a fun playthrough. I mean, well, I already played through it, and it was a fun playthrough until I got to certain parts, and then it was very frustrating because I got to a point when this game came out where I was like, I'm going to speed run it. So I tried speed running the game a bunch, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this. I'm not speed running the game. So I stopped speed running it, but I ended up trying to use speed run strats in this, and I kind of forget like 90% of them. Some of them I kind of understand, and the problem with that is I remember some strats, like this one right here where I get the sock, but then I kind of completely forget what to do after this. So, yeah. There's a lot of moments like that where I half remember how to do a strat, but I also don't. So I go to do it, and I end up failing like 60 times in a row and raging. Obviously, you're not going to hear me rage because I don't even think I was recording the mic. But, yeah. So there's that. This is not a speed run because this took me many hours to complete over the course of like a few days because I would just get so angry at myself for failing that one strat 60 times in a row. And then I finally watch Shift's tutorial on how to speedrun the game, and I go to that section and realize that I'm completely missing the mark by like this many feet, and I'm like, oh, it's because I'm just jumping completely off the wrong spot here or whatever. So that should be fun. It should be kind of entertaining. And hopefully I can make it entertaining for you to watch. I don't know. And we got commentary in there because I can't go like 5 minutes without talking to myself.
Hey, SpongeBob. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. as a whistle. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Hey, how's it going? Back to annoy you again, because this part right here, as you can see, I'm throwing the robots at these metal towers. Basically, Mrs. Puff is here, and she's like, hey, Patrick, if you can destroy the towers and unflood this little lake pond area, I'll give you a golden spatula. And as you can see, I throw the robots at the towers, and then I leave. And I actually never destroyed all the towers. I didn't even talk to Mrs. Puff, because you're supposed to talk to her, and she gives you the spatula. I destroyed all of the towers except for one of them. I don't know why I did that, because to get the spatula to begin with, you're supposed to go back to Mrs. Puff and you know, talk to her, and she's like, oh, thank you for destroying the towers or whatever. And I never did that. I just destroyed all of them except for one, and then walked away. I have no idea why I did this. Alright, here we are. We're back to give Squidward his ointment. We're just out. No, we're not. Yeah, no, never mind. I don't remember doing this. I mean, I can't say I don't remember doing this, but I realized that I didn't do this very later on because I was going through looking at all the spatulas I had, and this Jellyfish Fields, I went there and then proceeded to collect like one of two spatulas. Even though I don't like, what am I doing? There is no thought process going on right now in this gameplay. Here we are. Mrs. Puff, she's like, get me these boating wheels and I'll give you a golden spatula, SpongeBob. And I said, maybe. Because you don't have to. As long as you get a specific amount of golden spatulas, you can continue in this game, which I kind of like. There's the freedom in that way. It's not, there's a kind of linear path that you follow, but at the same time, you can almost make every playthrough different. You know, somebody might do this mission and to get these golden spatulas, where whenever you play through the game, you might not do those missions at all, because you don't have to. As long as you get that set amount of golden spatulas, it's fine. You don't have to hit specific cutscenes for the most part, as long as you get to those spatulas. And that's what makes speedrunning for this game interesting. Because with the Mrs. Puff thing, or certain areas, it might be like, oh, open this path, and you have to unlock this gate and hit this gate and open this gate by doing these puzzles to get the spatula. You can just, like, you know, platform across the map without hitting any of those specific points to open the gates, because you can just, you know, glitch your way over or jump over the gate or do like some crazy speedrun trick to get over to it without having to hit any of the triggers to open the gates to get you to that area. If that makes sense, that's more of an example. I do that at some point and I'll show them. It's I don't know, this game is fun. It's fun to play it casually, and it's fun to speedrun it. I kind of half and half it. I do explore the areas, and I spent like 7 hours at rock bottom. I don't know why I did that. I mean, I don't really... Okay, I want to say I don't really think I spent 7 hours in rock bottom, but I spent at least 2 to 3 hours in rock bottom. I have no idea why. This isn't rock bottom right now. This is downtown Bikini Bottom, but I'm just thinking about that. I spent a lot of time at rock bottom for no reason at all. I don't even think I did that much. The atmosphere is great though, which is what I like about it, where, you know, Cosmic Shake isn't bad with its atmosphere. I like the areas and stuff, but man, like, the atmosphere in this game is either downtown Bikini Bottom, like, where it's, you know, sunny, it's like, oh, you know, it's just a nice fun area to run around, or it's like a gritty, you know, darkish atmosphere. You know, it feels kind of gloomy and dark in a way. I kind of like it. I don't know, you'll see later on when we get to those levels that, you know, I'll show them and I'll say, hey, I like the atmosphere of this level, and I'll bring that up. Or maybe you've played the game yourself and you know what I'm talking about. You get what I'm picking up and I'm putting down, what you're picking up and we're picking up what we're putting down, or something like that.
I love opening presents.
All right, so what I'm about to show you right here is a speedrun strat for Sandy. Basically, you go to mantle onto a ledge, you jump off, and once she grabs onto the ledge, you press her lasso trigger. You can double tap the jump button, and if you hold the second tap, like if you jump and then hold the second jump, she'll hold her lasso and she'll slowly float to the ground or whatever. Or I play outside on controller, which most people do. You press left trigger, and she automatically just pulls it out once you press left trigger. And basically, what you do is you jump off a ledge, and the moment she grabs back onto the ledge to mantle up, you press her lasso button, and she gets stuck with the lasso around her. And this allows you to basically levitate. Yeah, you can just levitate. I'll show some clips of that right now.
Sponginator. I feel like a new sponge.
SpongeBob, do what?
All right, here we are. This is Goo Lagoon. Yeah, so I don't know. There's a couple ways to get spatulas here. We have to turn these lighthouse lights, and then we reflect it. I like the lighthouse lights here because you turn them and they have to reflect off each other. And then to activate the switch for the last lighthouse, you actually have to go throughout the rest of the map. It's not just, oh, do all of them right here and you get the spatula. It almost forces you in a way to traverse the rest of Goo Lagoon and see all of the other areas, because in order to get to the last light, which is all the way over there behind me by the boxes there, I have to go through the sandcastle, and then after the sandcastle, I have to go through the carnival dock area, and then after that, do I get it? If you're doing it casually, that is. And that's basically how I do it. And it's fun. I like how they do that, and it doesn't feel forced. Because again, like I said before, you don't have to get every golden spatula. You only need the specific amount that you need, so you don't have to go through and get this spatula specifically. I don't know, I like that. And I don't know, Goo Lagoon's fun. It's a fun map. I like it. It's just, it's iconic. I don't know. Got the muscle gym and everything. The carnival is probably the most fun, but I'll talk about the carnival when we get there. Let's not spoil it too much. Alright, next up we got this fun little area to run around. I'm only going to talk about this just because this is an area that I think the atmosphere, the lighting's really good on, especially with the, I think this is running on Unreal Engine, or that's what they made Rehydrated on. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Unreal Engine. And again, this is just a new area that the devs made. You know, it's not like an iconic location from this show. I mean, still Goo Lagoon, but it's really well made. It's basically just a giant circle that you run around. I think you get a golden spatula at one point. You do some kind of not really puzzles, but just you move platforms and do this and that. And I'm just going to show you clips of it and, you know, end on a clip of me dying. Here we are at the Carnival Pier, Gulagoon Pier, I guess it's called. Basically, we talked to Mr. Krabs, and he's like, destroy the robot in the ticket booth, and I'll give you a golden spatula. And then I proceed to spend like 7 hours at the pier because I try to do a bunch of speedrunning strats, and I forget how to do half of them, or more like 90% of them, and then I also proceed to fail like 50,000 times in a row, and I'll show you all the fails because I think I start getting really mad at one point, and it's kind of funny.
Fish paste!
Oh, sparkly! Fish sticks! Ouch!
Congratulate.
Alright, so here we are, our first Robo boss battle. I think all of the boss battles are really, really fun in this, especially the first two. The first one is Sandy, the second one being Patrick. And yeah, I just skipped like half the Gulagoon stuff because I was like, you know what? Why keep getting mad and failing when I could just get the spatula from Larry and then just move on with my day. So that's what I did. And now here we are doing the first Robo battle, and it's fun. I like this. The atmosphere. I love the arena. Just everything about it. I guess it's nostalgia, to be honest, but hey, I think it's fun. It's cool. The arena's cool. I like the bosses in this game more than I do in Cosmic Shake. The Cosmic Shake, they're not bad, but it's just like they feel so much smaller and insignificant compared to Battle for Bikini Bottom. Maybe that's just me, but like just the giant robot Sandy with the giant arena. It's like, I don't know. It's iconic. It's fun. I like it. It's probably mostly nostalgia driven, but whatever. I don't care.
Looks like the robot's left itself vulnerable.
I wanna play! I wanna play!
Patrick, we're not playing! We're fighting for our lives!
I wanna play! I wanna play!
Oh, all right!
Looks like Patrick has a big opportunity here. Wow, I've never seen such an electrifying
That was
match.
fun! Your turn, Spongebob!
Oh?
That robot is down and staying down. What an upset here at the Poseidon. Quite a battle. Tell him what he's won, Johnny. It's a new power, the Bubble Bowl. And that's not all. A gift certificate for $5.32 to Dean's Little Shop of Dried Fish Flakes and Flowers.
Cry all you want, but not here. We just wax the floors.
Here we are in Sandy's Tree Dome. I really love all of the levels. After the Sandy fight, the second area of Bikini Bottom. I like all the levels here. I think they're really fun, especially like Sandy's Tree Dome. It's small, it's a small area, but it's still fun to run around. It feels big too. Like it's small on the outside, and then you go into the area and it's a fun area, and you can see the outside and the whole. It's enjoyable. I don't know, the areas. It's probably just a bunch. It 100% is a lot of nostalgia, but I don't know. Just it's one of the few games that I'm able to replay like a bunch, just constantly. I don't know. Maybe it's because I used to replay it all the time, but man, like I just don't get bored of this game. Yeah, there are some areas and certain parts that I get bored, but a lot of them, it's just fun. I could easily replay it once a year. Undoubtedly, even more than that. It's enjoyable. It's just iconic to me. Just going out, seeing all the characters, all the areas are so well made. It really is just a timeless game. And then, the remake obviously helps it in that regard because it just graphically looks better and it's more updated and allows I don't know, even the classic game, I like the graphics. I like those old school, you know, 3D Mario 64 type graphics and whatnot. So I think even the old game holds up just as well. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. I mean, even areas like this, I mean, look at this. It's just, you bubble this area, and then I have to go up there and get to the spatula. You know, it's just a fun little puzzle, fun little platforming area. It's not super difficult, and it's not super easy, I guess. It's just, there we go. I fail. Okay, let's get this over with.
Sponge kit. Okay then. Well,
I'd like to add really quickly that I really like this area, simply because, you know, you can imagine playing this for the first time. You go into this building and it's just a little elderly home, and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, what is this? Where's the Mermalayer? And then you finally go up to Mermaid Man, and he sucks you down into the Mermalayer, and you're like, oh yeah, now that's neat. You know, it's fast. It's like a secret. It's like a hidden level. And again, here we are in the Mermalayer. I love this. I love this location. I love the area, the atmosphere. It's such a well-made area. All the levels are so well-made. Like, they're fun to explore. Like, every time I replay this game, I want to explore the areas. Like the Mermalayer. I was excited to go to this area. I love the beginning, the little intro of the Mermalayer. Before you actually go into the Mermalayer itself, you are running around the home, the interior of the little elderly home, and then with Mermaid Man, where the chair lifts up and he presses the button and the chair lifts up, and then SpongeBob gets sucked in. I love that. It's just the kind of attention to detail, I guess you could call it. It's just, I don't know, I like it. It's fun. I love the area. I love the enemies too, by the way, like that sheriff western looking robot there. I think all the robots are really well designed, and that's kind of one of my, I don't want to say problems. I guess it's not really a problem, but the one thing about the Cosmic Shake is that all the enemies are, to an extent, maybe not all of them, but a good few of them, a decent amount of them, just feel like reskins or reimaginings of the enemies from this game, from Battle for Bikini Bottom, which is fine. I don't mind that, but it just doesn't feel as original, and especially with the enemies in the Cosmic Shake. I don't know if I talked about this in that video, but the enemies in the Cosmic Shake, some of them I don't like the big giant guy that holds the bathtub. I hate how you can only damage him after he slams a bathtub down and he's exhausted. I hate how you just have to wait for him to do his move and just avoid him, or just stand off to the side while you wait for him to get exhausted, and then you get at him and it's 3 times. I like how this game is, where you can just instantly wipe out the enemies as fast as you're able to, do your moves. You don't have to, like, oh, stand here and wait for, you know, they're not invincible at all. You can do damage to them whenever you're physically able to, and that's what I like about this game. You can just kill the enemies. There's no waiting until, oh, he's invincible until he does this move. I didn't like that about the Cosmic Shake. And then some of the enemy encounters in the Cosmic Shake were forced. You would get to a certain area and this, like, little bubble dome would form, and you'd have to defeat all of the enemies in that bubble dome to move on. Like, it was very forced. Whereas this game, you could run past all of the enemies, to be completely honest. You don't have to kill any of them. You could just run past all of the smaller robots throughout the level and not worry about getting rid of them. And that's what I like. You don't have to, you're not forced to fight them. You could just kind of speed run the game or run through the game at your own pace. At your own pace. I spend a good amount of time in the Mermalayer, to be honest, too, just because it's enjoyable. I like the area. It's fun. It's obviously a lot of it's nostalgia, but I can't speak, man. It's hard. I don't even know what's going on with me right now. This is yeah. Anyway, here's the speedrun strat right here. I kind of speedrun some of this area or do some of the strats because it's kind of fun. It makes it easier to run through the game and whatnot. And I don't know. It's just fun. You know, I wouldn't. If you've played this game before, try doing this speedrun for it, or, you know, you don't have to time yourself or anything, but, you know, pick up some of the strats. You might find the game to be a lot more fun replayable because, you know, certain areas you could just go, okay, I'm just going to do this speedrun strat and go through it faster. You know, areas that you don't like, that you think are boring or whatever. Or it's just a fun way to replay the game, you know, playing it a way you've never done before. And I don't know, that's what I like about it. It was fun. Speedrunning the game, or trying to speedrun it, was somewhat enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I had fun. It was a different way to play the game. I played the levels very differently and whatnot. Okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm done being annoying and talking now.
Well, why am I here?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy!
Finally, I hit the last button. I spent 20 minutes looking for that final button, because every platform had a button, and I hit all of them except for that one, because these walls up here that I'm about to jump on, to get them to open, you need to hit the buttons, all the buttons on this level, and I literally couldn't find it. I was like, what am I doing? How do I do this? For the love of God. And then I finally found it after running around a bunch and seeing the location. I was like, oh, thank God. Okay, let me go to Spongebob and hit that button. And I finally hit it. So here we go. We're going to the next area. The gate should be opening as I get stuck in this cardboard box. I don't know what I'm doing. And I think the next area is not the boss battle yet. We're good. That's never mind. Hold on. As you can see, here we are talking to Gary. As Spongebob says, he's like, you made it down to the deepest recesses of the Murmur That's kind of what I like about this, is that you see reoccurring characters in certain areas, but not in every area. Whereas the Cosmic Shake, you saw the same exact character, like all of the characters were in every single, like, level it felt like. Like, I felt like Pearl was in every single section of the game. Maybe not all of them. I could be completely wrong about that, but I felt like Pearl showed up a lot throughout all of the, all of the levels. Whereas in this game, Squidward isn't in every single area that you go to. But Sandy might be, every area that Squidward's not in, Sandy might be in. Or, vice versa and whatnot. I like that. It's interesting. It's, like, spread out enough where you're not seeing, like, Squidward in every single area that you go to. It's, but you still, again, see the characters. Like, we don't see Mrs. Puff in the Murmur Layer, but she shows up again at Rock Bottom. And she doesn't show up in, actually, Mrs. Puff shows up a lot. Mrs. Puff is the... Now that I realize it, Mrs. Puff shows up as... She's actually... Mrs. Puff is a caretaker who is supposed to watch the, like, people's kids. And I'm now just realizing that Mrs. Puff should not be left alone to watch over children, because every time you talk to her, she's missing something. Like at Goo Lagoon, she's like, SpongeBob, I need you to help me save the kids. They're floating away on balloons. And you have to, like, pop the balloons that the kids are holding onto and save them. And the same thing happens with Kelp Forest. She loses all the kids in Kelp Forest. And then on top of that, not only is she losing children, somehow she lost the steering wheels to the boats. That's the downtown Bikini Bottom. You have to find the steering wheels to the boats. And then there's another area, or Rock Bottom. You have to talk to her, and she's like, I lost all of the paintings. You have to help me find them for the museum. And I'm like, what the hell? Mrs. Puff, you should not be in charge of anything in your life. Like, how do you still have free restriction to, like, even watch over kids? Holy crap, you've lost like 20 children in the span of this entire game.
There's nothing like the smell of bubbles in the morning. Smells like victory.
I have regained compute.
Alright, here we are to our next boss battle. I guess you can consider it like a mini boss because you technically don't have to fight this enemy, I think, to beat the game. You can kind of completely skip over them. I'm pretty sure you can do that. I don't think you skip them in the speed run, but I could be completely wrong about that. It's been a while since I've seen the speed run or even attempted it. But I fight this boss because it's fun. I don't know, I like this area. The Murmur Lair is really just a fun area to explore, and even the boss at the end, I love this. It's great. It's such a fun, nostalgia-filled game for me, okay?
Superheroes. But now I see it's just a couple of pieces of gnarled driftwood.
Prawn! I'll never forgive you, you madman!
Steer right.
No, not again. This is not fair. I got a frozen wedgie for this. Is this the end?
Alright, so we beat Captain Prawn. Is that his name? We defeated Shrimp Boy, and we got a golden spatula, and we saved the day, I guess. What the hell is that? What is he doing? What the hell? Alright, we're back at Mermaid Man, because just like how I did on Jellyfish Fields, where I forgot to talk to everybody, I actually remembered that, oh, I have to go back and talk to Mermaid Man so I can get the spatula for doing these puzzles that I did in the beginning of coming here. So, yeah, I came back to get the spatula. Alright, so here we are at Rock Bottom. Again, this is just another area with such a good atmosphere. Even in the original game, the atmosphere, I mean, this is a faithful remake, to be completely honest, for the most part. They really capture it well in this game, just as well as they did in the original, and man, it is, even the cutscenes are enjoyable. I mean, obviously, like I said before, it's definitely a decent amount of nostalgia, but I feel like most people could just go and play this game and be like, yeah, it's, the areas are well made and the atmosphere is really, really just nicely put together, and it just all feels really nice. And it's great because the atmosphere doesn't feel the same, you know. Rock Bottom doesn't feel the same as the Murmur Lair, even though the look of the atmosphere is similar with the, you know, the how dark it is, and it's foggy and, you know, slightly lit in places, and the outside of the areas where you're not going are like dark and they feel like bottomless pits, and yet it still feels just different enough, you know. Like Rock Bottom doesn't feel quite the same as the Murmur Lair, but the vibe is similar, if that makes sense, you know. Or I guess the atmosphere, that's the better way to put it, is the atmosphere is similar, but the vibes are really different. You know, Rock Bottom is Rock Bottom, and it feels very very underground, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it. Tiptoeing your way through right here and killing that guy. Yeah, I love it. I love all of the areas in the second part of Bikini Bottom here. You know, Rock Bottom, I really love exploring Rock Bottom. I really love the Murmur Lair. I love all of that. Sandy's Tree Dome, even though Sandy's Tree Dome is a small area, it's still a fun area to run through, because it's like, oh, you know, you know, you've seen the episodes of where they're in the Tree Dome, and here we are in the Tree Dome, and it feels large. It feels grand, even for just a small little, you know, somewhat smallish area compared to the rest of the areas in the game, like Rock Bottom and whatnot. And, you know, I like the detail of Spongebob not having his helmet, so he just, like, looks dehydrated the entire time in Sandy's Tree Dome. And I'm trying to do a speedrun strat here that is not a strat and doesn't work. I think I need Sandy for it. I spent a lot, like I said before, I think I spent a lot of time at Rock Bottom. Obviously, I'm not going to show a whole bunch of it, because I'm doing the entire game in this video. But I'll try to show, you know, whatnot here and there. Obviously, I'm showing me getting basically all of the spatulas. I think I didn't show the first 3 spatulas, or maybe I did, and I don't think I did, because I remember the first time I showed, like, me getting the 5th spatula, and I was like, how did I get the other 4? I'm like, I don't even remember seeing me get them in the footage when I was going through it. So I don't know. Yeah, and me failing miserably, thinking this is the thing, like I said before, where it's like I think there's a speedrun strat here, but I also am doing it completely wrong. Anyway, yeah, let's show the clips now. All right, I gotta stop talking. All right, so here we are in the museum area of Rock Bottom, and basically what you're supposed to do here is run around, destroy the robots, hit all the buttons, and Barnacle Boy gives you a spatula, and I don't think I ever end up getting the spatula from Barnacle Boy, but I do this area. I realize that, or I remember that the best way to go through this area is to play as Sandy. So, yeah, it's a lot easier to run through this area. I'll show that footage right now because I don't know when I switch off, but I realize, oh yeah, this is a lot easier if I just play as Sandy and whatnot. So, yeah. Alright, so basically that laser thing is you talk to Plankton and you hit the buttons to all those lasers and then they shoot at the other laser thing and they deactivate it or something. And you're supposed to go back and talk to Plankton to get the spatula. And I shit you not, I spent like 5 to 10 minutes looking for Plankton because look at him, he's just on this tiny rock here. Like I was running around looking for him and I literally couldn't find him for 5 straight minutes. I was just warping constantly to different areas running around. Then I was like, oh dear God, found him. He's like an inch tall, couldn't find him to get the spatula. But anyway, we did that, and I think I end up getting one more spatula in Rock Bottom. So yeah, let's cut to that. Alright, now we're at Squidward's house, and basically you're just supposed to go in there and annoy the crap out of him until he gives you a spatula. And usually you do this in the very beginning of the game, and I literally just forgot. Alright, here we are. This is, Ski Mountain. I forget the name of it. It showed it at the beginning. Basically, there's a bunch of slides. This level is just a surf/slide level. That's all it really is. It's an enjoyable level. I was actually having a lot of fun with it. You pay like a certain amount of shiny objects, 1,500 I think for each, and then you go in and you get spatulas by beating people's times. So you have to beat Larry's time. I think Sandy and Larry, or maybe it's Mermaid Man. I think, yeah, there we go. There's Mrs. Puff, and she's like, hey, if you beat my time, I'll give you a golden spatula. And they're fun. They're just, this isn't the same as the other levels. The beginning part is, the part that I was just in, the hub area of it is, but when you're going down the slides, it really is just, I feel like the devs were like, let's just use the slide mechanic a bunch. Let's just make a level dedicated to it because it's kind of fun. And that's what they did. And it's really fun. It's an enjoyable level. It's not the best level. It's not like the best level in the game, you know, some of the best, but it's really fun, and you can, you know, it's just like a time trial level where it's like, let's see how fast you can go through it. And I enjoy it. It's fun.
I I'm the fastest there is.
So this is Larry's slide where you have to beat his time, and I cut out the first couple tries, and I don't even get it on this try. It is difficult. It took me quite a few attempts to beat Larry's time. I don't know why. I guess it's meant to be like a nail biter type finish, but holy crap, could I not finish this level. I was freaking. I mean, I wasn't freaking out that bad, but it was like, it took me a minute to complete it.
Hello,
The ultimate wedgie experience.
You usually do this at the beginning of the game, but I just completely forgot. Basically, you talk to Patrick, and he's like, I lost all my socks. If you can give me 10 socks, I'll give you a spatula. So, every 10 socks I give him, he gives you a spatula, and that's what I'm doing. I'd also like to state that I came to Patrick because I gave up on Larry's time. So I just straight up got the spatulas from Patrick so I can continue to the next boss fight instead of doing Larry's time and getting his spatula. Alright, here we are. We're at the Robo Patrick fight, and I love this arena. I love the Robo Patrick character. I think Robo Sandy and Robo Patrick are just my favorite bosses in the entire game. I think Robo Spongebob is probably my least favorite boss, to be honest, which is funny. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the atmosphere of the arena. I just love the arenas. They feel really large and grand. Like, oh, this is a huge boss fight. We're fighting this giant, you know, robot monster thing that's larger than life, you know, 200 times the size of your character. And I love how you switch between characters when you're fighting them. It's like, oh, not you're playing as SpongeBob. Like the Robo Sandy fight, you played as SpongeBob, and then you played as Patrick. And in the Robo Patrick fight, you play as SpongeBob, and then you switch to Sandy for the second part, and then you go back to SpongeBob, and it's really fun. That's one thing that kind of disappointed me with the Cosmic Shake. Now that I think about it, is that you don't play as anybody else. You only play as SpongeBob the entire time, which is fine. I don't mind it, but I think like this is more of the definitive SpongeBob gaming experience, because not only do you play as SpongeBob, but you get to play as Sandy and as Patrick, and they all have their own special moves, and they could all do their own special things where, you know, SpongeBob has a bunch of abilities. He's got the bubble bowl, he's got the missile, or the bubble missile, and then Patrick has his, he can slam on the ground and knock any enemies around him unconscious, and he can pick things up and throw things. That's a huge thing that he can do, which other, you know, SpongeBob and Sandy can't do. And Sandy, she's able to use her lasso and fly through the air and, you know, rope swing and all that. And it's just so interesting and just enjoyable. Another thing that I want to bring up, which I just remembered, is, or I guess a difference between the boss fights in Cosmic Shake and in this game, is that the arenas are different. Whereas I think the boss fight that I remember from Cosmic Shake, the pro boss fight, when you have to go back into, you go into the dimension, you go back in time, and you play as the like caveman SpongeBob or whatever. That pro fight, it's just the same area as before. You know, it's exactly the same as the entire map that you played before to get to her. It's just its own little area. Whereas the boss fights in this, the robo fights in this, they're all completely different areas than the base game. You know, this isn't connected to whatever area that I was at before. You know, this isn't connected. You know, it's not the same area as Rock Bottom. You know, you don't fight Patrick in Rock Bottom. He's not in his own area in Rock Bottom. No, he's got his own completely new map. You know, none of the other areas look like this area. And I like that. I like that, how the boss, you know, fights aren't just separated in their own grand scale things, but they're actually their own arenas and not just connected to the level that you're in. And it's kind of just the same, you know, area. I don't know, like the Cosmic Shake, all the boss fights they kind of just felt like a mini boss, like a larger mini boss, like a mini boss trying to be a boss fight. And I guess maybe it just doesn't help that, like, they're just the normal characters, you know, they're not like these giant crazy robots, which I guess that makes sense, you know, they're not going to make whoever you're trying to get, like Mr. Krabs you get from the Western jellyfish fields. Like, obviously they're not going to make Mr. Krabs like 200 feet, you know, tall or whatever, but actually, now that I think about it, is there a boss fight for the Western jellyfish fields? I don't think there is. You don't fight Mr. Krabs, you just fight a bunch of minions and then get to him. Am I remembering that correctly? Is there really no boss fight? I don't think there is. That's so weird. I don't know. Just everything about this game to me is like really iconic and, you know, nostalgia filled. So I don't know. That's all I have to say about it.
Right here.
King.
Phew.
SpongeBob. It's
Right,
your
here we are in the dream area. You know, you go through everybody's dreams in this level. It's the same atmosphere as Downtown Bikini Bottom. Like I said, when I was going through Downtown Bikini Bottom, the levels really are split up into two types of atmospheres. There's the bright, you know, daylight out, sunny. I don't know how to explain it. There's a term for it, and I completely forget. You know, bright, sunny areas, and then there's the dark, you know, gloomy, dark, you know, very underground, atmospheric type levels, which, you know, rock bottom, the Murmur layer, and whatnot. And whereas you have the complete opposite of that with Goo Lagoon, the dream area, and I'm forgetting a different area. I guess Sand Mountain, that's the name of the area, or the one with all the slides that you go down. That's kind of got the same atmosphere going on as Goo Lagoon and the dream area. And I really like the dream area. It's fun. All of the dreams are really enjoyable to go through. Sandy's, Mr. Krabs' dream I like. And then for those of you that don't know, Patrick's dream is literally just him standing there, and then you go up to him and you're like, "Hey Patrick, this is a weird dream you got." And he's like, "Yeah, here's a spatula." In reality, they actually had a dream made for Patrick, and it just never made it into the game. I think there was files for it found in the game, and it's kind of like half done, but there's no enemies or whatever. And it was supposed to be this like food, like chocolate and sweets filled world and whatnot. And I guess they just didn't have the time to put it in or finish it or something like that. So they just, you know, did away with it and just had you talk to them. So, yeah, this area is fun.
What?
Oh, this is another section that I struggled on. Obviously, I'm using a speedrun strat here where I'm floating with Sandy. And how the float works is you can't go down manually. You can, but only once. And as you can see, I get hit up, and now I can't go down. I'm just floating up into nothing. I have to, you know, reload the level. And you have to, like, the only way to float downward is after So once you do the floating glitch, Sandy's floating. If you float back and have her walk in, like she's actually walking on ground or walking on a surface, then when you go back to floating, she can either jump up in the air and just float up into the air off into forever and, you know, disappear. Or after you touch the ground again, when she's floating, you're able to press left trigger and she descends downward slowly. And every time I go to this other area, this little Alamo area, you have to defeat all the robots there. Except I kept failing miserably at it because I couldn't descend downward, and I would go over there and I'm not close enough to the ground. Usually you're supposed to use a sloped surface to slightly push yourself downward, and once you get pushed downward while floating, then you start gliding on your own without having to, you know, touch the ground and then float downward, if that makes sense. I'll try to show it here, but yeah, this area was just a slight struggle for me, but we get it. We get it in the end. So just to describe it so you can see it, I do with the lasso glitch, I jump off, do the lasso. As you can see, she's got it around her. I walk off the edge and then I walk back on it. You have to walk back onto a surface after doing it. And that's how you get your ability back to glide downward. So let's speed this up and I'll show you when I start gliding.
Someone better make good use of all these. Buzz off, you little pests. Well, that's awful pretty. One less varmint.
For heaven's sake, boy!
Mr. Crab.
Hard time, boy.
Got a little speedrun shot for you here. If you boost upward and then immediately press the
Patrick needs to do
slam
laundry.
on the ground button, you slightly move higher in the air. So you do the horn thing where you go flying upward in the air, and then if you immediately at the height of that press the slam down button, whatever it is, you know, your slam button, he kind of moves up just slightly enough and you're able to pick up that sock there.
Amazingly.
Mr. Krabs is dreaming of the
What?
Whoa! That!
Here we are, Mr. Krabs' dream. It's kind of just an arena. I feel like you have to kill all the enemies in this arena here, and I failed this a couple of times. I was getting mad at this part. I can't lie. I started to rage a little bit. I can see the spikes where I yell, and I'll show that because it's probably kind of funny. But you basically have to destroy the enemies, and then as you can see, the patty slowly unravels with every enemy you destroy, and then you have to go up and destroy the one robot thing, and after you destroy that robot duplicator, you then have to go back to the platform and then destroy a couple more robots, and then the burger unravels itself so you can climb up it again. It's weird, but it's creative. It's honestly creative. I like, even again, like, look at it, just looks so cool, the piles of money and everything. I love the dream sequence. You know, even though there's not really a lot going on in this stream. It's just kill these enemies, do the patties, and then destroy the things. Yeah, it's fun. Alright, spoke too soon. I raged on the Mr. Crab stream. I failed once, and I was like, or I think I failed twice, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not getting this spatula. So I went back to the pier to get a spatula there because I literally just got so mad at the Mr. Crab stream. I was like, I'm not doing this right now. And then, oh yeah, so this part, I think what I do is I switch to Patrick. And in the original game, in SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, the original version, not Rehydrated, you switch to Patrick here. You go over and you pick up one of the stone tikis. And you carry it over, you toss it over this bridge and everything, and you put it into the skee ball area. You throw the head into the rock tiki into the skee ball area. Then you switch to SpongeBob, and there's a glitch where you're able to get basically an infinite amount of shiny objects. Except you can't do that in this version of the game. And I just forgot that. I thought you were able to. And you can't. So I spend a bunch of time trying to throw this rocket over there. And by the way, I failed a bunch of times. That's why it took so long. I kept failing. As you can see, I just kept failing it. And I'm gonna speed it up just so you can see how many times I failed until I got over there and then had the realization that, oh, I can't do it in this version of the game.
What the fuck this What the Where the fuck is he aiming?
Nightmare, 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 nightmare. You can't.
Here is
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Water rising. Must get to higher ground.
Alright, so those couple clips before were some little speedrun strats or how to get through the Goo Lagoon Sandcastle area quicker. And now we're back to Larry's time. I'm like, because I was looking at how many spatulas I needed to get into specific areas and whatnot, and I'm like, okay, I'm like too short here or whatever, and I'm looking through, and I decided to come back, and I'm trying to beat Larry's time. So that is the goal right now. I think I fail a couple of times, but Yeah, we're back to sandy slopes. I think that's what the area is called, sandy slopes. So yeah, I'm gonna try to beat Larry's time. Alright, we're back at rock bottom because there's a really easy spatula here to get, and I decided to come back here to get it. Basically, you just talk to Mr. Krabs, hit this button, and you get a timer, and you do this slide, except there is a really easy shortcut you can take right up here. I'll show you.
You've just met the Sponginator. Tartar sauce! The horror!
Alright, so we're back at the Sea Needle, and I don't actually get the spatula for doing this. I go and I attempt it, but I just give up on it because I don't really feel like doing it. Basically, Mr. Krabs at the Sea Needle gives you a task where he'll give you a spatula if you go through all of these windows, and you have to destroy all of the tikis and in these 3 different areas. And what you could do is you switch to Sandy, and you stand on the tikis and destroy them, and then once you destroy all of them, you glide for a little bit while you wait for the rest of them to fall to the ground and get destroyed, and then it's an easy way to do it, because usually you're supposed to use the bungee as Spongebob, but this is just a way to do it faster and get around the area. And I don't actually end up doing this. I just give up, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really care enough. I have no idea if I'm doing it right. But you want to speedrun strats, or if you do want to speedrun the game, or, you know, like I said before, just strats or anything, I'll link Shift's tutorial on the Battle for Bikini Bottom speedrun in the description. Now, if you are going to do the speedrun itself and actually time it and put it on the leaderboards, then you have to, if you're on PC, you have to use a specific version of the game, and there's a way to down patch, and he goes all over all of that. But, you know, honestly, I went back and used the video as reference just for parts that I wanted to get through quickly. You know, there's nothing wrong with just learning the speed run and just doing it on your own time, you know, just timing it yourself, you know, not having to go back on a specific version or anything, and just, you know, speed running it for fun, you know, and not putting your time on the leaderboard. But yeah, links to that video will be in the description and whatnot. And right here is where I actually go back to Jellyfish Fields and turn in my tasks that I completed in the beginning of the game, and now I'm just realizing that I forgot to hand in. So I'm actually going back and re-handing in, or re-talking to the characters again and being like, hey, I finished your task 4 days ago and I forgot to talk to you about it.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy!
Here we are, Kelp Forest. I actually don't spend a lot of time here. I run around a little bit, but I don't even know if I get any spatulas while I'm here. I could be completely wrong with that. But toward the end of the game, I was just like, I kind of want to get the game over with already. I've been playing this game for the last few days, and I've been failing half the speedrun strats, and I've been doing it, and I just want to get it over with. And I spent a lot of time here, but again, I really like the area. It's really atmospheric. Like I said this in the Cosmic Shake video, but I don't really like Kelp Forest in the Cosmic Shake. It doesn't really feel like Kelp Forest compared to this game, where it really feels like a forest that you can get lost in. And I love the, atmosphere of the area. Like I said, all of the levels have the atmosphere. It's very dark and mysterious in a way, and the huge walls of kelp and whatnot. I don't know. I really like it. It's just a great vibe, atmosphere. It's just, I really like the areas. They're well made. I think they're cool looking. Okay, so what you're seeing here is from a new recording. Usually I record for maybe 30 minutes to an hour max, and then I stop it and I resume. So that's what I did here. And cut out the first 25 minutes of it. I was in the kelp forest and I did this. There's a Barnacle Boy level where he's like, get these crystals and I'll give you a spatula. And I spent 25 minutes and I did nothing. I literally did nothing. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna get spatulas another way. I'm just gonna get this over with already because I've been playing this game for far too long. It's been, at this point, I had spent multiple days like saving, exiting, and playing like an hour at a time. And I'm like, I just have to get this video over with. So now I'm just gonna grind shiny objects. And as you see, Mr. Krabs, for every milestone of shiny objects, you can give him, 3,000 or 3,500 and then 4,000 shiny objects, and he will give you a spatula every time you hand in a certain amount of shiny objects. So I'm just trying to get them quickly. I'm going to Mr. Krabs, and I'm just trying to find and get quick golden spatulas so I can get into the chum bucket.
Trade shiny objects for a golden spatula? That's quality craftsmanship, that.
Alright, this is the Flying Dutchman area. I like the atmosphere. I like the area. It's all really cool, and the giant moon in the background and all green. And I'm just speed running this area. I'm trying to get the spatulas. This video was an hour long. Dear God, I think this is my longest video I've ever made. And I've cut out a bunch of stuff too, obviously. Like, you can see the cuts and the thingies. But yeah, we're getting spatulas. Gave up on the Dutchman's graveyard, decided that I will get spatulas easier ways than going through the entire Flying Dutchman area.
Patrick, you have a...
Not so fast, SpongeBob. You'll have to pass my test before...
There, you...
Alright, decided to farm shiny spatula, or, oh my god, I can't talk. I've been doing it, I've been trying, holy shit, I've been trying to do this for so long. I am now going to farm shiny objects so I can sell them to Mr. Krabs, so I can just get golden spatulas like that and get this over with. I've been doing this for too long. Welcome back. I have decided that I give up. I'm going to glitch my way into the chum bucket with only 70 spatulas. Alright, so really quickly, I want to bring up why I actually glitch warped to the end of the game instead of getting, 75 spatulas, was because this was multiple days of recording, and I know I had a bunch of footage, and I really just wanted to finish the game so I can post the video. I didn't want to spend, more time, any more time playing the game, because I already had a bunch of other ideas and a bunch of other recordings, and I'm like, I just want to get the game over with. I'm already at the end of the game. I've already been to every level, basically. I might as well just, glitch warp to the game and actually just finish it and get it done with already.
Oh yeah? I'll destroy you +1. Well, I'll destroy you plus infinity.
Will I? We can't rest until Bikini Bottom is safe.
Yeah, I probably should have split this up and, worked on this video between 2 days, and I didn't. I did this entire video in a single sitting without stopping. Actually, I stopped once to take a shit. Anyway, if you're still here, surprising, but thanks. And, this is probably my longest video I've made to this point. I don't know if I'll make a longer one. I don't know. I feel like anything more than an hour gets too long, depending on who the creator is and how good the content is and whatnot. But yeah, we finished SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Compared to the Cosmic Shake, I really do like this more. I think this game just holds up well. I like all the levels. I like all the characters. It's easy to come back to and play, even if you only come back and play specific levels. There's a lot of challenges to do on the side, so even if you complete the game, there might be some small things to collect, you know, even if you want to come back and get all of the spatulas, you know, collect all of them, you could do that. Yeah, anyway, we're done with this. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good day, good evening, night. I'll see you in the next one.